Okay, George Balance is Lynn's husband. And yesterday we went shopping and we visited many supermarkets. It was about 6 of them. Lynn has spoken about Marks Spencer's, Tesco, and Sainsbury. Now George is going to talk with us about Aldi, Asda, and also about the other two ones that they don't use much, that is the Iceland and also the Bakers. So George, would you please start talking about Aldi, for instance?
Aldi is a supermarket that has come in from the continent. It's big in France and Germany, and they have been increasing in size in the UK. And when they came to Irvine, where I live, I started to go in. Well, people were talking about the good value that was there, and I started to go along, and I liked what I saw. It may not have been just as good a quality in the vegetable department as Tesco's, but you didn't have to buy their special select to get a good price. I was tired going into Tesco's, lovely as it is, big supermarket that it is, all the convenience that you can have everything in there. I mean, I would spend maybe 5 minutes around the computers and the televisions before I would even go looking for the music, or looking for the food. Just enjoying what Tesco's have on offer. But you really had to be careful at Tesco's, because sometimes you would find a special at the end of a row, a special today, 3 for the price of 2. But when you checked out the prices, it was cheaper to buy them individually. And I got tired in Tesco's having to go through the routine of making sure that the offer was a real offer, as opposed to paying more. Sometimes offers was actually charging more in the end. But when you went to Aldi's, they didn't have special offers. They just have specials all the time. And in fact, I saw their UK manager being interviewed recently when they were talking about opening up another 3,000 stores within the UK, and he was asked by the interviewer, would your value, would your prices still be the same if you're opening up more stores? He says, yes, we have our name because we are cheaper and we work on it. We actually work hard to know what other people are charging and make sure we price our prices below. So we've got our name on value for money, and we intend to continue in that vein. So Tesco lost out to Aldi in my respect, because with being just the two of us at home, I'm not needing 3 or 4 of the one thing. In fact, my wife Lynn used to see what I brought in, and because I would do the shopping, I would bring in these specials, and I have 3 packs of something. She says, why did you buy 3 of those? They were on offer. And I used to get my ear bit off when I talked about offers as being the cheaper way to get things at Tesco's. So Aldi's became a favourite with me. I didn't have to worry about checking out their prices. All I had to do, in fact, was check out the value. If it was a good cauliflower, if it took my whole hand to fill it, I thought, right, that's big enough, and it was always cheaper than the Tesco ones. Okay, if you went to Tesco, you might have found there's a little bit bigger, but so was the price. And I didn't need bigger. I just needed a decent value for money. So that was Aldi's. Asda is in the centre of town, so one has to go to you have to go down into the centre, down into the mall area, and to the car parks in the mall that are attached to the mall, and that means it's not as convenient. Aldi's, when I go visiting there, I don't have to go into the centre of town. I scout round the centre, and it is in the town, but it is not tied in with the other shops that are at the mall and at the river, which we would call the centre of the town. And when I go to Asda, it's really after their crusty bread. I'm afraid going to Brazil, as I have since 2003, I got used to going out to Real in the morning, out to the local bakery, and getting fresh rolls, nice crispy rolls. I willingly got up early in the morning, got on my clothes and headed out to the supermarket before breakfast to get some rolls just fresh out of the oven. And Aldi's didn't do fresh rolls. They do bread, but not into crispy rolls. They did offer a selection of rolls, but you had to finish them off in your own oven. You would take them home partly baked and bake them yourself, finish them off in the oven to crisp them up. But Asda is my favorite. Tesco's also do crusty bread, and their car park is easier to get into than Asda is. But somehow the difference in flavour between the Tesco bread and the Asda bread, I prefer the Asda bread to the Tesco's ones. So that I go into Asda and generally to get the crusty bread and the rolls that they make, and if I need other things when I'm there, and I see anything that is good value. Plus, I do go past the fresh fruit and veg, and as I walk past, I think, oh, cauliflower, a pound and 10p. I look at my receipt from Aldi's, 95p. Yeah, I got a good deal at Aldi's. So, Asda would come second. Tesco is still a beautiful store, lots of room, all the products that you can desire, but that price is generally a little bit more expensive. And like I said earlier on, I got tired looking for the offers as opposed to looking for what I wanted. So, and then it comes to Iceland. Well, Iceland is in the center of the town, at the point that we call the cross, where the buses disembark and one-way traffic. It's awkward to find. There is no convenient large car park, and it's generally used by people who don't have transport, or for reasons of their own, they prefer to take a bus into the town. And when they take the bus into the town, the center of the bus stops, you get off the buses outside Iceland. So for those that don't like driving to supermarkets on the outskirts of the town, it's a convenient choice. Plus it gets its name on frozen food, and Lynn and I prefer chilled food or fresh food, and don't usually go into frozen food. You need to have a good large freezer to make that worthwhile. So Iceland, good value, and yes, it advertises, and you see some of their offers that are going, and you say, yeah, good value, but the inconvenience of having to go there and not being able to get a place to park, and the fact that it is frozen food in the main, is not in my liking. So it is not easily got to, and therefore not
the backers.
Excuse me, hold on a minute.
Where you buy your meat, something like that.
The butchers.
The butchers.
The butchers, right. Yes, butcher shops are few and far between. Few and far between. There are not many of them today. Butcher shops, because you have, let me see, 1, 2, 3 of the major supermarkets in the town, all with their meat departments. And then you have smaller supermarkets also offering meat products. To have a shop that is a butcher's, Carne de Rio? No, a butcher shop in Portuguese.
Açougue. Açougue.
Açougue. Carne de açougue. Yes, I used to try to pronounce them when I was in Brazil. Yes, butcher shops in town near to Iceland, in fact, next door to Iceland, you have one of the few butcher shops that are in town. And there is that little bit, I don't know, it's in perception, if not in actual fact. My wife perceives that the meat that you get from the butcher shop is that little bit better than the meat that you get from a supermarket. It might be that the butcher shop is more inclined to hang the meat, okay, for 21 days, 3 weeks, before they like start to sell it. Maybe the supermarket, they don't hang it as often, or I don't know. Maybe it's because it is polythene wrapped and is shrunk wrapped into packaging, stays in packaging for 2 or 3 days before you get it into your fridge. Something makes the meat not as nice when you cook it, and consequently, if we really want meat, though it is not our, we are not Brazilian. We love Brazil, but we're not Brazilian, and usually just chicken would be my favorite. I'm afraid when we buy meat and try to fry it or roast it, we always go for well done or cremated. And when you do that, it's always hard. And you think, why did I bother? So butcher shops, yes, we go there. And quite often we use it when special occasions like Christmas, because they do nice pre-cooked pies with a crusty topping on it, and you have meat and sausages and onion and so forth in them. And we would order one for Christmas and for New Year or something like that, you know. So yes, butcher shops, they're not as plentiful anymore because the supermarkets sell the same meat and quite often undercut. In other words, sell them cheaper than the butchers themselves.
Okay, George. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.
See you tomorrow again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.